All right, Nick, let's talk about the Los Angeles Rams. This is a team that started off hot. Even though they lost to the 49ers, they still played very well against an extremely tough divisional opponent. I think it was a very commendable game by the Rams. But I think there is a trade rumor lurking that will look very good for Rams, and it could potentially set them up for something big in the future.
Yeah, Miles, I could not agree more. This report you dug up, I think, is another instance of a really smart move done by Snead and company running the Rams. Really great insight that you're going to bring into the table here shortly. But before we get into that, look, Rams fans are looking to bounce back from that loss against the 49ers. You've got the Cincinnati Bengals coming up on Monday Night Football, only a few short days away at this point. In the comment section below, give us your prediction for the Bengals-Rams game. I think that, a lot of people are thinking the Bengals are going to have to bounce back. I think the Rams, I agree with you, look good against San Francisco. I think this is going to be one of the better games of the week. So now's your chance, Rams fans, in your comment section below. Give us your prediction for this big upcoming matchup. But all right, Miles, what you got? What's the details involving LA right now?
Yeah, Nick, with the emergence of Kyron Williams, the 2022 fifth round pick out of Notre Dame for the Rams seem to be in a little bit of a running back surplus as they were last year. Reportedly, Cam Akers has been shopped last year. He's being shopped this year, but this year, I think the running back market has really started to heat up. Let's get into the article first, and then we'll talk about the details of it afterwards. This is from over on Bleacher Report. It says Los Angeles running back Cam Akers is reportedly a hot commodity on the trade market. Cleveland Browns, the Baltimore Ravens, the Las Vegas Raiders, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are among the teams to have checked in with Los Angeles about a potential trade for Akers, according to insider Jordan Schultz. McVay also told reporters that the Rams general manager Les Snead has spoken with a handful of teams regarding a trade involving Akers. I would say a handful is about four, so everything's lining up there. That seems like a pretty solid rumor. But Nick, this is a very interesting story because you look now at the running back landscape of the NFL, and we look specifically at these four teams. You have the Browns, obviously horrible injury to Nick Chubb last night. They are now quickly in need of a star running back because that offense was leaning upon the shoulders of Nick Chubb. They need a top-tier running back in that offense. You have Baltimore Ravens, J.K. Dobbins out for the season after tearing his Achilles. So injuries are racking up in the AFC North. There's going to be a bidding war amongst the running backs potentially. You have the Raiders with Josh Jacobs. Nobody knows exactly what that is going to behold for him. So Zamir White, Brandon Bolden, are they the guys? I don't think they know that either. So there could be a little bit of depth, a little 1-2 punch with Akers and Jacobs to really get that team going. That's what I'm seeing there with that team. And finally, Rashad White, the Bucks. I think you get a little bit of upgrade here in a guy like Akers. And the Bucks, starting out really, really hot to the start of the season, could use a top-tier running back to, help this unexpected playoff push for them as well. So I think the Rams are in a really key position here to get a lot of value out of a guy like Akers that they seemingly do not want to keep around. But Nick, what are your thoughts on this and what could happen with the Rams?
So I think the Rams have set themselves up pretty intelligently here because look, let's back up a few years and just what's going on with the world. Of course, a lot of people remember a few years ago, all the supply chain issues when it came to buying cars, everything was on a delay. And what happened, right? Anyone who wanted a quality, not like a premium car, but just like a standard, Altima, an Accord or something like that, or an SUV, the prices, especially for used cars, went through the roof just because there was still a natural demand for people to have cars. There just wasn't the supply to back it up, and there wasn't enough demand or enough money for people willing to pay for the premium cars that were still and always have been available, right? Everyone lived through that supply chain shortage of cars a few years ago. If you had a used car you were willing to trade in at that time, you made bank because you took a car that was maybe worth 20 grand at most, a used car. You were able to flip it for 30 in a lot of cases, sometimes more. Heard a lot of stories of people doing that. That's kind of a really comparable situation to what we're seeing at the running back position right now in the NFL. No one really wants to pay premium, or no one can really afford to, due to the salary cap, to pay premium for quality running backs. But there's a lot of contenders that don't want to go bargain basement. They don't want to get the cheap car, right? They want to get a quality running back because they're trying to make a playoff push. And Cam Akers is a quality running back. That means they're going to pay a little bit over what Cam Akers is worth in terms of a trade value. Now, like I said before, what better position to be a few years ago if you had a used car you're willing to flip? You can make a lot of money. Look at the Los Angeles Rams. They have that equivalent quality running back that's not going to break the bank, that people can't afford but are willing to overpay a little bit. And Cam Akers, here you go. You got the bidding war action going on. This is going to be a massive opportunity for the Los Angeles Rams to get a lot of value for a guy they've essentially moved completely on from. And again, like I alluded to a few minutes ago, if you knew that there was going to be a supply chain shortage of cars 2 years ago, you could have made a lot of money. Here's the thing, though. The running back market in the NFL has been in this situation for the last 2, 3, 4 years. Nobody knows that more than the Rams because they dealt with everything with the Todd Gurley situation a while back. So the Rams almost predicted this coming. They waited for an opportunity and they held on to Akers. Remember, they could have moved on from him last year. They could have cut him. They could have traded him for pennies on the dollar. They recognize this. This is a credit to Les Snead to saying, listen, I know at some point there's going to be a hot demand for this, and I'm going to be able to get a lot for Cam Akers. And I think that's what we're going to see coming up right around the corner. I think this is a great move that's set up for the Los Angeles Rams, and credit to their front office for not falling into temptation last year and just trying to flip him and move on. Now they got a chance to get a lot of value for this guy.
Yeah, Nick, and let's not, kind of discount Akers. I want to go through this just so Rams fans remember last year, Akers' best year probably coming into this season. He's looking really good. This isn't necessarily your run-of-the-mill Ultima. I would say this is more like a base-level Charger. He has got some explosiveness in him. This guy, he ran for 786 yards last year, 7 touchdowns, 4.2 yards per carry. And here's a big one, Nick. 17 runs of 10-plus yards, 17 explosive runs last year for him. Also, he caught the ball 117 yards. So this is a pretty good option for a lot of teams who don't want to break the bank. They can't afford like a Christian McCaffrey type thing from last year, but they get a very, very good option for their team.